Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, January 6th, 2023. We've made it to the end of the first week in January. And I got to tell you, anyone that has kids, you guys know it's been a long week, not just for the adults, but for the kids too. My kids are exhausted. And every day when I get to the bus stop, all the other children, they're just so mopey and tired because they've not gotten back onto their regular routines. But we made it through 1 week. We get a chance to regroup over the weekend and then try again next week. But I need that little bit of a break. The kids need a little bit of a break. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Everyone that's listening in on the audio only version of this live stream on the podcast, welcome to you guys as well. Hope you guys are having a good run out there today. I had a really nice run. I really enjoyed it. Listened to a couple of good podcasts. And so the miles just flew by. Even though out here, it's not that cold, but it got real icy. Things have been like above freezing for a while here. And then suddenly overnight things dropped. And so everything that melted got really wet and then it froze. And so it was a little bit dicey out there, but I made it through safely. And hopefully you guys that are listening are making it through your run safely as well. All right. And everyone that's watching this on YouTube later after the fact, hope dinner went smoothly. Or maybe you're watching it in the morning. Maybe you're watching this before you go to bed. Either way, hopefully you're having a nice and relaxing time. All right. Energy Runners is here in the chat. He says, I don't have kids. I am the kid. Well, Energy Runners, are you tired? You've been going to school this week, first week back. Hopefully you're doing all right. You made it to the end of the week, though. So congratulations. Runner Will says, hello, everyone. I hope you're having a super amazing day. Temperature this morning was perfect for a good run despite the light rain. Yeah, it's kind of warm over there, isn't it? That's nice. I mean, I feel like the weather here has been really great. We had a miserably cold blast of cold weather. Miserably cold blast of cold. It was cold. And then it got warm. And then it's been in like the mid 30s to low 40s for the highs during the day and then like dipping slightly below freezing at night. I'm like, if the winter stays like this, I can live through this. This is easy. I think this is beautiful weather for us here in the Midwest. So I have a feeling come like February, it's going to get brutal again, but I'm just going to enjoy it right now. Pete G1980 says, hi coach, just back from a 10K run. How's it going? Oh, that's awesome, Pete. I'm doing well. I'm feeling really good. Like this time last week, my knee was bothering me still. I felt like everything felt hard. Just kind of like not stress, but like the physical exertion of holidays and family and travel and hosting and all that stuff. I think it was kind of wearing on me. And, they say stress is stress. So whether you're working out stress or your body's going through a lot of stuff, or like emotionally, kind of like not intellectually, but like, the things that you're experiencing, experientially, I guess is a better word. It was draining on me and I didn't realize it was so much. And this week I'm like finally recovering and the running's been good. Dark Kick says weather turn here as well, just beautiful and hope all are well. Awesome. All right, let me scroll down. I'm way behind you guys in the chat. So, Energy Runner says school starts this Monday where he lives, or where Energy Runners lives. So, well, okay, all right. Well, next week you'll be tired. Hopefully it's been a restful week. T Skills though says, my kids have been unusually happy and good. I feel like it's a calm before the storm. It could be, but maybe you just got lucky, maybe they're just happy and good, and that's going to be that way. Mika says, evening all, no running today. Been writing PhD thesis the whole day. Probably will jump on an exercise bike for 50 minutes later. Also, it's so icy that it's dangerous to run even with crampons. I don't have any of those. I've never had any of those, and I always kind of feel like if it gets to that, I got to find something else to do, But here's the thing. I think where I was running today, I ran out in Moraine Hills State Park. There's still some areas that are like a little bit snow covered. Not a lot, enough that I could still run on, but like you could see people's footprints. And there was definitely someone who had been through very recently with crampons on. And I was like, oh, there you go. That's cool. I think that that product's biggest problem is the name. I'm not interested. Like, I'm not going to put that like on a Christmas list. I'm not going to, it's a weird product name. I feel like I should get them, but I don't know. I did think though while I was out there that like I wanted like just 10 easy miles, and I was debating whether or not to go to one of the trails, the parks near here that I normally go to, or if I wanted to run in the other park, which is not as hilly and mostly like, it's like, I don't know how they decide, but like half of it's paved bike path and half of it'll be like 10 meters of pavement, like asphalt tarmac, and then 10 meters or 20 meters of like crushed limestone, and then another 10 meters of pavement, and then 10 meters of, it's weird. So, or maybe it's probably like 2-to-1 crushed limestone to pavement. But so I decided to pick that one instead. But when the pavement was so icy, I was like, oh, I picked wrong. I should have gone to the other park, and I should have gone to the other park and just run on the trails, because I was going to run in the Tecton X, and I was like, I don't feel like running in the Tecton X. So I ran in the Adizero SL. That shoe's really good, guys. I think it's pretty cheap too, and I have a feeling if I know Adidas, which I don't really know Adidas, but with my experience with Adidas, that shoe's probably going to go on mega discount anytime soon, and then it's going to be like one of the best deals in running. So Danny Running with Scissors says, good morning all. Good to see you again. And Jose Naveo says, happy Friday. Getting into Boston Marathon training block. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. You know, we got to find a way to bring back this sound. Remember this sound? I got to figure out a way to bring that back. But going back to Jose's comment, yeah, Boston training's coming up. I was feeling really good on my run, and I was like, all right, Tokyo Marathon training, it's back on. I think just 2 days ago, I was feeling like a little bit down about it. I was telling you guys. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not inspired. Now I'm like, I feel good. I'm ready to go. Let's train. Tomorrow I got a workout. I'm going to take the Takumi-sen for a first run. It's going to be good. So, yeah, I'm excited. I was trying to work with Tommy Runs, on a project leading up to Boston. I got to follow up with him. It was something fun. It was something really fun that we were going to do. Hopefully we can do that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Where we go? Alex Gervais. Any relation to Ricky? Alex says, let's go. Finally caught live. What's going on, Alex? Good to see you. All right. Energy Runner says Energy Runner is excited to go back to school on Monday. Probably one of the only kids I've ever met who will be excited to go back to school after winter break. But he says, can't wait to wear my running shoes to school just to show them off. No Blast 3, green and black. That is a good colorway. You know what? I almost picked up another pair because I was looking through the ASICS website. And there's also the white one with like the light blue. That one also looks really nice. I'm like, oh man, I kind of want that. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to buy any more ASICS. ASICS does send me a lot of shoes, so I'm like, I'm not going to buy any more. I was also thinking about, because I was thinking about Tokyo, I was like, oh, I wonder if there's going to be a Tokyo color for the Metaspeed Sky Plus. I definitely want a fresh pair, because my pair is over 100 miles on it. And for Tokyo, I do want a fresh pair, and I would love to have a Tokyo edition pair, you know? But I'm excited for you on Monday too, Energy Runners. Duke BB 22 says, I got the Pegasus Nike Trail 4 last night for $53. That is a steal. Wow. That's the video that came out today. I'm very happy with how the video turned out. The response to it seems to be pretty good, which is nice. Although, like, I don't know, man. Like, YouTube comment, you know, the bigger the channel gets, the grumpier the YouTube comment section is, and the less time I want to spend there. This one has been pretty good, better than most from some of the recent ones. But still, there's a lot of negative energy, and I'm having a hard time kind of like, I think I got to do a better job of like, if it's slightly negative or I think it's negative, just scroll past it. But people like the Peg Trail 4 Gore-Tex. It is a great shoe. I really like it. I want all the Nike shoes to feel like that one, or at least all the React ones. It's just so good. And getting it for $53, that's amazing. That's a good price. AMS, I think that's how you said that. AM space MZ, AMS, says, hey, everyone, finish the book tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow on Audible during my run today. Highly recommend. Well, that sounds interesting. I don't know what that is. Stephen Lung says, my wife just got some SC trainers. Super ankle rubbing issue. Anyone have that problem too? Any solutions other than taller, thicker socks? I'd say taller, thicker socks. One of the things that I've used before are KT Tape makes them, and other brands make them too. But KT Tape makes like a running specific one where there's a kind of like a bandage they make that fits around the back of the Achilles for that kind of rubbing. And then there's other kinds of, they're not bandages, but they kind of are something in between like a bandage. And if you guys ever had a corn remover thing, there's the thick pad that gets put on top of it, and it's like medicated underneath, I know that's gross, but there's pads that are like that will stick to your skin. Those kind of work too. So hopefully you guys can get through it, because that is a nice shoe to run in. I almost ran in that one today, but I ended up going with the Adizero SL. So hopefully that, you have to let me know if that works out. Mark Peterson says, got a package from Tracksmith yesterday with the new ribbed tights. Excited to give them a whirl this weekend. Ribbed tights is a weird combination of words, but I hope you like them. I mean, if they can handle the Minneapolis winter, then I feel like they're definitely legit. Stephen Link says, excited for Houston next weekend. Can't wait to get in on my first Kofuzi Run Club shakeout. That's a good reminder. I got to make sure I do that. I keep meaning to do it. And then I sit down on the couch to be like, all right, let's figure out a route. Let's set up a time. And then I'm like, oh boy, it'll be an hour later and then the kids need something, I got today. Today I'll get it out today. Alex Gervais says, does Adidas have a daily trainer? I've been having a hard time finding out what it's called. I love the Sen 8 and Pro 3, so hoping they have a good trainer too. They do now, and it's called the Adizero SL. That's the shoe that I was just talking about. And so that video probably won't come out for like another week. I'm trying to like pace myself for videos. And I'm trying to do 3, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday is kind of loosely kind of what I'm thinking about doing. I'm sure like as scheduling things happen and events happen, that'll change, but I'm trying to keep it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'm trying to like map out further ahead what the videos are. So that one's going to come out in about a week, but that's the one. There's like Solar Boost. There's Ultra Boost. None of those are really good. They're heavy. The Ultra Boost is not, I don't recommend the Ultra Boost to people, especially at the price. People give me a hard time about reviewing the Super Blast because it's expensive, about the Tracksmith Elliott because it's expensive. No one blinks an eye at the Ultra Boost. $180 for that shoe. I know that, yes, it typically goes on sale like right away, but still, that shoe drives me crazy. I used to love that shoe. But anyway, there's the Ultra Boost, then there's the Solar Boost, and there's like the Solar. Nope. There's a whole line of shoes that I think are direct to Dick's Sporting Goods type of shoes that I don't love. I don't think they've had one. The SL previously in my mind was the best kind of daily trainer they had, but that's not like, it's kind of a budget shoe. I love that shoe, but it's kind of a budget shoe. And now the Adizero SL, is like, which is a nicer version of that SL. I think in my mind, that's how it works. That shoe's great. I recommend that one wholeheartedly. And I feel like Adidas finally has a lineup again, because not having a good daily trainer, I think, was the biggest problem. I love all the racing shoes. Takumi Sen, Adios Pro, Prime X Strong, great shoes. Solar Boost and Ultra Boost, nope, I don't want those. So, yeah, I would go with the Adizero SL. I just got really excited about it. Sorry, I know that was more than you needed for your answer, Alex. All right. Adam says, Houston, long-range forecast for a week from Sunday is 70s and a chance of rain. Ooh, that is not good. I hope it rains then if it's 70s. But that is not good videography weather. But I also heard that Thomas might not even go. I was listening to the drop. I only got to the very beginning of it because of I finished one podcast and then that's the next one that spooled up, and I only got like a couple minutes in at the end of my run. But I think Thomas might not go. That was a big. I wanted to go hang out with him. I mean, we hadn't talked about it, but I'm like, well, if he's going, we're gonna go hang. We're gonna find a way to hang out. But I don't know if he's just not going or if he's not running. But he's apparently sick now, so hopefully get well soon, Thomas. Maybe he's better by now. I don't know. We'll see. I'll send him a message. But yeah, I'm getting excited for it. I got to go find out and see if I got emailed an elite list. I got to go see if I got to check my junk mail too, because I don't know if I got my media credentials request accepted. I would like to be able to get some of that better access. I have a feeling that I'm not going to get any of that. Eric says, hey, all, feeling good. I hope your running is going well through winter grit or your usual grind. Cheers. That's very nice, Eric. I like that. Mika says, Adizero SL is already on discount. It's 20% off where Mika is. That's crazy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah, by the way, you remember SL20? That used to be the word that we used for this sound. Because we ended up talking about it. Remember that? We used to talk about that shoe like once a day. And so anytime someone said SL20. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's funny. I forgot all about that. Stephen C says, I got the Audio 6 on a good discount, enjoying it so far. Yeah, I was thinking about that in the shower because I was thinking about the Adizero SL. And I'm like, all right, so what's the lineup? What are the good shoes from Adidas? You've got Prime X or Prime X Strong, I guess, or Prime X Strong, Adios Pro 3, Takumi Sen 8 or 9, and then SL20. Do we put the Adios in there? I like the Adios, but it's such a for me, it's a very narrow set of use case. It's not cushioned enough for me for a daily trainer. And like, I can't think of a time where I would use the Audio 6 where I wouldn't rather just be in the Takumi Sen 8 or 9, And the Takumi Sen has always been pretty cheap. It's been a good value. So I'm like, yes, the Audio 6 is cheaper. Maybe some people don't want to be in the energy rods, the carbon-ish thing that is in the Takumi Sen. So maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. It seems like a shoe that used to be the marathon shoe for Adidas. And just like the marathon shoe for Nike used to be the Zoom Streak, both of those shoes, now people are like, I don't know what to do with this anymore. I'm glad people are still buying it, and they are up. Well, I think I can tell you that they're updating it to the 7. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you yet what they're doing with it. But they're not just like giving it new colors and calling it a day. They are updating it. So, yeah, Energy Runners brings up the Adizero Boston 11. I did not review the Boston 11 because I did not like the 10. I liked it, and I liked it, but it didn't. The ways that I liked it didn't make sense. And then there's still, at the end of the day, it wasn't the Boston 9, which was my favorite Boston, and I feel like that was peak Boston. Like, the people that are training for the Boston Marathon should be able to train in it and or race in it, right? And people that were training for the Boston Marathon seem to want to do neither in that shoe. So that's why I feel like the Adizero Boston 11 may be a fine shoe, but it's not a Boston. That's what I mean about the 10. So that's kind of like, I just got real, yeah. Remy B. Real says, confession, it's been hard to be around athletic people in spaces while recovering. It bums me out. Working to get over it by being here. Well, welcome, Remy. We're happy to have you here. It's good to see you. Yeah. Sean Devlin says, can anyone recommend a non-spike shoe for my daughter to wear in the mile for her high school track meets? She's new, not super fast yet, just needs something lighter than her daily trainers. I do think that the Adios would be great. It's not spiked. It's low to the ground. For a mile race, it would be great. I also, when I think about a flat to wear on the track, I think about the Puma Liberate. The Liberate 2 is not out yet, but they made it even stiffer. They've done something to it to give it like, not like a shank-like thing to it, but like they said they firmed it up. Not in terms of the foam, but like they made the whole thing a little bit more rigid. So it should be a little snappier still. And so I feel like that's like your, like the people that, or I guess a Convara would also be good. And I was going to say with the Liberate, it's like the people that used to love the Convara are going to be very happy with the Liberate 2 from Puma. So those are so Convara, Puma Liberate, Adios 6 or 7, and Zoom Streak. The Zoom Streak would be a good one. It's got Phylon. It's got a TPU shank. That's a really fun shoe to run in. I actually really like that shoe. Energy Runner says they already have the Audio 7. So I must be talking about the 8. I forget what the new one is. I've lost count because I stopped paying attention. I think I have the 6. And then so I had this Audio 6 and the Boston 10. And then they only got upper updates for 2022. So there's Boston 11 and Audio 7, if I'm remembering. Now that you mention that. The next Audios I saw at the running event in Texas. It's nice. Audios fans are going to be happy. I don't think I've said too much. I think I can say that. Goodness, the Adidas embargo is so annoying. Oh, Energy Runner says, don't forget the New Balance SC Pacer. That's a good reminder. I want to buy, because I was looking the other day when I was doing the Peg Trail review. I was rummaging through the Nike website, and like it showed me the Streak Fly. I'm like, that reminds me, I do still want to review that shoe. Although the last time I tried to buy it, Nike canceled my order. But I also want to review the New Balance SC Pacer. And you know what? No one has gotten her to talk about it. No one from New Balance has talked about it. But Emily Sisson set the American Marathon record in not the SC Elite 3, but a modified SC Pacer. And no one has more info on that. I suppose that's on me. I know people like New Balance now. Maybe I should try and find out more about it. But yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to know. Tell me more about this SC Pacer. I think it was just a double stack Pacer. How that's not, I don't know. Makes it sound like a Rebel 3 with a plate, which also sounds pretty fantastic. Oh, Steven says the New Balance SC Pacers are on sale. Some places it's less, about $100. $100. Adam says, I asked a New Balance rep what she'll be wearing in Houston. She didn't know. Oh, yeah. I'm getting excited for Houston. But I got to start doing some homework. I got to figure out who's racing, what they might be wearing, what their goals might be. All right, cool. Lou Boy says, weird flex, but I went to high school with Emily Sisson. That's pretty cool. Did you ever race her by any chance? I'm sure she would have kicked your butt. She would have kicked my butt, that's for sure. I don't know how fast you are, Lou, but I'm just saying. Because by high school, she was probably pretty fast. Luke Klein says, like a plated Rebel 3 would be awesome. I mean, part of me is like, yes, it would. Of course it would. But like the other part of me is like, I think that something that we as like running fans have been doing that has been ruining stuff has been like, oh man, but what if we put a plate in it? And we've been demanding these. I've been very vocal about demanding similar. Or like, what happens if you take the plate out? Let's see. And I think and then like the brands have been like catering to that, and I'm like, oh, the results have been not great. So like I try not to be like, oh, this is great. Put a plate in it and let's see what happens. But that being said, I feel like a plated Rebel 3 would be kind of fun. Steve Ehrenberg says, I was going to wait for the Catamount 2 for winter street running, but ordered a Pec Trail 4 today after your review. Yeah, I mean, the Catamount 2 has a different kind of rubber pattern. The lugs are really low profile, but they're wider. I don't know if that's going to be better for icy snow running, but I have no idea when the Catamount 2 is coming out, and the Peg Trail 4 is here now. You know what I mean? So, Mika says, some versions of the Sen 8s, SC Pacers, and Streak Flies are all for sale with big discounts at some places. Maybe 5K, 10K shoes don't sell that well. I don't know. Well, yeah, I think that part of it is yes. But on the other hand, if you think about it, like the number of people that race 5K, 10Ks, maybe not 10Ks, but 5Ks should be huge, right? Because there's a lot more 5K racers out there than there are marathoners. Think about all the kids that are in high school, like all the collegiate runners. All those people want to race in something. And I've frankly always been surprised that like marathoners got peak technology first before the 5K people did. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, a marathoner will pay $250 for a race shoe. Will a high school kid? Not a lot. Some will. Not a lot though. So maybe that's what it is. And then like for most people that are adult runners that are racing 5Ks, they might just buy one racing shoe, a marathon shoe, and use that for their 5Ks. So maybe it's I don't know. Right now, it's a small market. Is there a shoe that can build that market though? You know what I mean? Because it wasn't always the case that like marathon shoes were the best selling or like the most like attention grabbing shoes, but they became that because the market was created. Nike created the market with it, with the Vaporfly 4%. So, interesting. Mark Meyer says, hey, yo. He literally said, hey, yo, Heyo. Hey, yo, enjoyed the Trail 4 review. Are these decent shoes for hiking? I need some trail runners and regular hiking shoes, so wondering how they feel when walking. I mean, just regular walking, I feel great. I'm not I'm much of a hiker. I mean, I hike with the kids kind of stuff, so it's nothing like too crazy or too long. It's usually shorter on the trails that I might run on. But the thing that I would say that I might anticipate that a hiker might want that these don't have is a rock plate. And I also feel like when I see hiking shoes, like Hoka makes hiking shoes, and I look at those, or when I look at other brands that make hiking shoes, like Columbia hiking shoes or Merrell's, I feel like the lugs are much beefier. And these are trail running lugs. So that is the only thing. It seems from other things that I've read that the grip on, I've never had a huge problem with Nike Trail outsoles. I feel like they're Nike Trail, they're grippy. I slip on stuff that I'd slip on in any shoe. It's kind of always been my take on it. But some people like have been complaining about it for a long time, and they were really excited when they heard that Nike changed the outsole rubber for the Peg Trail 4. I don't notice like a huge difference, I guess, from the Peg Trail 2 that I tested. But I do feel pretty sure-footed in it. I was in some like slushy, icy stuff, as well as arctically cold stuff, and I did fine. So I mean, if I had no hike, I don't think I have hiking shoes. But if I were to go to hike, would I take these? Yeah, I feel good about it. So I think it might depend on like how long your hikes are, because I know also hiking boots tend to have a lot of lateral and ankle support, just because you're going to be on your feet for a long period of time with a pack. So that's something that I can't really comment on. But for like the kind of hiking that I do, I would have no hesitation. Ines says, ring shoe prices have a large range from lowest to highest. Hard to know where to start sometimes. You can invest a lot in shoes that just don't work for your feet. Glad I found my Hoka. Yeah, it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I'm going to start a new kind of series of videos. The first one will be on Monday. So kind of talking about some of those things, because something that I've been getting a lot of, and I think part of it's because with some help from Drew, and the collab video that we did over there, I'm getting some DMs from people who are much newer to running. And so I'm getting a lot of stuff like, I found a pair of, I'm new to running. I run 3 times a week, maybe like 3 to 5K a time. I found a pair of Vaporfly in my size for $175. This is a good deal. It seems like it's a big discount. And I'm like, it's a good deal if you want to race in it, but I wouldn't run every day in that, So yeah, I think it's very easy to be like, well, you know what? I'm serious about my health. I want to get into running. And I'm tired of buying all these cheap shoes that don't work and hurt my feet. I'm going to spend a lot of money this time. And so like, then you go, all right, what are the expensive shoes? And they're race shoes. And I think that a lot of people new to running might not be able to figure that out. And so some of the things that I want to kind of address. But yeah. Mika says, just bought On Cloud Rock hiking shoes for winter walking and light hiking. The grip is absolutely horrible against most proper trail running shoes. They still look good, though. Oh, man. I didn't know On made hiking shoes, but that makes sense for them. Looks like Dr. Josh is here. He says, what up, fam? He says, Happy New Year. Good to see you, Dr. Josh. How are you? Hey. Shannon says, the most I've ever spent on shoes is $160 for full price Endospeed 2s. I am crazy about shoes, but it's silly to me to buy full price. Be patient, make shoe friends who get discounts. Yeah, I think that like a really good way to do it is to like just like right now, sometimes a shoe changes a lot from year to year. But a lot of times it's incremental changes. So like in that situation, I feel like a really good thing to do is just buy last year's shoe if it's still available on sale. Like what was I looking at recently where I was like, oh, there's none of these on I was looking at the Mach 5 because I just hit the 100-mile mark on that and I'm about to put the review together. And I was like, are these on sale now? I wonder how much they cost. And I don't think they're not on sale. I don't know if there's just not enough. Maybe they either decided not to or don't have any inventory to mark them down, right? So like that's still a full price shoe. So you can't get that yet. Although, I mean, there isn't a Mach 6 out yet, but there isn't a Mach 4 either. And I was like, there's no Mach 4s at all. At least not on the Hoka website. So I'm like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, you know? Adam says, welcome to Josh. He wants to know if Dr. Josh is racing Houston. Is he racing Houston? Let me see. Dr. Chess says, nope. Just starting to get back into shape after CIM. All right, cool. Very good. Scott Stroll says, I'm going out for a run now in the Turbo 2s. You know what? I've been looking for an old pair of those. I was trying to see if I can find some like either dead stock or someone that had a pair. But like finding a size 9 in Turbo 1 or Turbo 2, or technically Pegasus 35 Turbo or Peg Turbo 2 has been difficult unless I wanted to spend $250, which I don't want to spend for turbos. But I've been looking because I'm just like, everyone keeps bringing things like the Peg Turbo is becoming the Clifton 1, where every time there's a shoe people like, they're like, oh, this has Turbo 1 vibes. And I'm like, I don't think it does. But I could see what you're saying. But I also feel like it's getting like weird, like hyperbole legend status. So I'm like, I need to run in it again. Let's find another pair. But it's hard to get one. So I'm envious, Scott. Enjoy that run. Yeah. Oh, Mark says you can find Turbo 2s on StockX for under retail. Oh, for real? Oh, I wish you hadn't told me that because I'm going to go buy a pair for research purposes. You know, I did really like that shoe. It was really good. But maybe I will try to find one. Innes got a pair of Speedgo 5s, and he says, I love the feeling of pulling on my new Speedgo 5s today. They fit my feet so well. It's a great feeling when that happens. It sure is. I'm glad. I hope you really love them. I'm trying to think. I think it'll stand up to some of the terrain that you run in. That running guy says, what's going on, man? It's good to see you. He says, I'm still loving my Zoomfly 1 SPs. Still got 3 pairs, approximately 100 miles in them. Do you still do? That was when they were lunar lawn. That's a good I was thinking about that shoe recently too. All these shoes because I did the Peg Trail review, so I'm going back and looking at like some other. I did a comparison to a lot of other React shoes, but and so I was looking at the old Zoom Flies, and yeah, that Zoom Fly SP was nice. I want to say that was the first lunar lawn shoe that I ran in. I didn't run in a lot of lunar lawn. There's a gap in my running history where I took a very long break from running, and that was like the whole lunar lawn cycle, basically. Kate wants to know if I miss that green Zoom Fly SB. I kind of do. I mean, I don't want to go back and run in it. That's for sure. But like, it was a pretty shoe. So do I miss it? I guess maybe not really. I have good memories of it, and that's good enough. I wouldn't try and get another pair. you know. Dr. Josh loves the Infinity React 1. They are hard to come by now, and he's finishing up a pair. What are we on? Are we on 3 yet? Or is it 2 that's out right now and 3's coming up soon? Like, are they different? I feel like they're exactly the same, right? I feel like the difference between 1 and 2 was that the version 2, the upper got like puffier, right? No? I think so. I feel like, yeah, but I felt like the midsole stayed the same. So can't you just get an Infinity React 2? Dr. Josh says, I've been looking for a pair of lunar spiders from 2012. The shoe that I really wish that I had picked up a long time ago, this shoe would have been out in like 2015 or so. It was like I forget what it was called. It was like I want to say it was called like the Nike Cafe Racer, but it was some sort of racer. It had fly wire, and it was a super low stack height shoe. And I believe the midsole was Lunarlon. The Flyknit looked amazing. It kind of like when I look at the Primex Strung, I'm reminded of that. Like I'll look up the name for you guys. I forget what it's called, but there was a cookies and cream version of that Flyknit, and it looked so good. And I was gonna buy a pair, but I'm like, I'm not. My feet aren't strong enough to run in a shoe that doesn't have that has that little stack height. But I would see people in my neighborhood wearing them around casually all the time. So like, I really wish I would have picked up one of those. It was a Nike something racer, Flyknit racer. Had fly wire, knit. I think it was Lunarlon. I don't know. It was good. Mika says there was some Odyssey Reacts for sale on the Nike website this winter for like 60 euros. Was about to pick a pair up, but my size was sold out. That was an underrated shoe, and I'm disappointed that it got discontinued. That shoe also had some weird naming conventions. So there was the Odyssey React 1, and then there was the Odyssey React Flyknit 2, even though the first one was not Flyknit. And it wasn't Flyknit, it was only half Flyknit. But anyway, it was so confusing. I don't know who names shoes, but they got to get themselves straight. They got to figure it out. It should have been called Odyssey React 2 with Flyknit. You know what I mean? I don't know. No one ever asks me. They should, but no one does. All right, so Dr. Josh says I think we've had this conversation for the Invincible 2. The upper was beefier and ripped easily in version 2. The midsole felt more dense. I believe when they order molds for these shoes, they only order enough for 2 to 3 iterations. Pushings was left into the V2. Oh, you think? Oh, interesting. James Aylward says, if you want to try an old shoe, the Dunlop's SA26, yes, the tire company, had a marathon shoe in the early 80s. Did they really? You know what? If we're talking about old shoes, I'm not interested in that shoe at all. Let me tell you. But you know what I am interested in? Just because, like, I'll explain the reasons why, but let me tell you the shoe. The Rockports that they made like in like the late 80s, early 90s that people were running marathons in. Like I want to see those. I don't even know what they look like, but I want to run in them. And that, because there's like 2 things that I'm reminded of. One is like in like Born to Run, the Chris McDougall book, they're talking about how like they brought the Tarahumara up to like Leadville to run Leadville, and Rockport had sponsored them, and they put them in these shoes because Rockport's like the company that makes like restaurant worker shoes now. They had made like trail shoes, and so like Rockport had sponsored like all these people to fly up, paid them much money to run Leadville in their new Rockport trail running shoes. And then I think it was Tony Post, the guy that started Topo. I think he was the one that like someone ran Boston in a pair of like the Rockport dress shoes that were made out of like had an EVA midsole, and he ran an incredible a sub 3 time at Boston in those Rockports. Like those are the shoes that I want to see those. you know? Yeah. Adam says Rockport used to be the title sponsor of Leadville. Isn't that wild? Like, I want to, like, show me the shoes. I just want to see what I mean, I actually haven't looked them up, but like, I'll have to go. I wonder if I can find images of it. That's what I want to see. And it says, I don't think non-runners would understand our love of our favorite shoes from the past. I mean, you know what? I think that they might. I think that they could understand like nostalgia and stuff like that. There's like this, like certain shoes get like cult followings, and some shoes become way more popular once they're gone than once they were around. You know, I don't know. Yeah. Pia Johnson says, "Hey, Co, are you doing Tokyo, and are you aiming to do the majors?" Yes, I'm running Tokyo this year, assuming nothing happens that would prevent me from traveling over there. So that's the plan. I'm currently training for it now. I think it's like 8 weeks away. I'm not looking at the calendar. I've been switching over to a 9-day cycle, and I'm going to get in as many workouts as I can every 3 days every 3 days until the race comes, and I'll be as ready as I can be ready, can't rush it. So, but yeah, if I do that, then I'll have 3 majors. If I finish, then I'll have 3 majors completed. And then in April, I'll be running Boston. So that'll be 4. Then I just need to get Berlin and London. I would love to be able to do all 6. Whether I can, like if it doesn't kind of like happen, I think I'm not going to go out of my way for it. But like I've been applying for the Berlin Marathon lottery every year for like the last 6 years now. Still no luck. Same for London. It just never happens. James Edwards say, okay, do a charity throwdown sub 3 in a pair of Rockports or vintage marathon shoe of choice. Ooh, that's a fun one. Maybe that'll be a question. Next time I go to an event where there's lots of people, maybe that's what I'll ask. One of the fun ones that I did was, or at least I had fun doing it. It didn't really get a lot of views, but I enjoyed asking everyone at the running event who they would pick for a celebrity pro-am 4x4. I was like, if you had to pick a vintage pair of shoes to run a marathon, what would you pick? I don't know. Eric says, 0 running nostalgia, 0. We live in the golden age. I do think we live in the golden age. Like I'm trying to think, like if you look, like when people look back at the running shoes from this time, like 10 years from now, are they going to be like, oh man, they were running in some goofy shoes? Maybe because they're so tall right now. And I feel like in 10 years, we'll get the same kind of like level of kind of like experience that we're getting in a much lower stack height shoe. So I think that'll change. But I also feel like, so let's look back 10 years from today, from 2023 to 2013. What are we looking at? We're looking at the Peg 30. The Peg 30, I think, had Cushlon, but like it was starting to look like a Pegasus. Like we're looking at like the Brooks Ghost 4. Like the shoes from back then were wild. Because 10 years ago, it was in that weird position of like, should we put every kind of technology in it that we can? Like gel, wave plate from Mizuno, gel from Asics, whatever. All the stuff, the medial posting was all there. And then some had flipped over to like minimalist shoes, and we had Vibram 5 fingers. It was just a weird time. And now I feel like the shoes are all good. There's a couple of duds. There's a couple that I don't love, but I feel like for even the shoes that I don't love, there's people that are like, oh, this shoe works out perfectly for me. Like the Glycerin 20. I don't understand that shoe, but there's some people that love it, So maybe you're right, Eric. Do you think in 10 years you'll be nostalgic for some old shoes? I don't know. Shannon says, I love all the shoe chat today. All my real life runner friends know I do the live stream, but I don't know that they'd enjoy this. It's a subgenre of runners that like the shoe talk, I think. Pia Johnson says, I'd love a set of the New Balance Beacons again. That first one was such a surprise, but it was not like a well-produced shoe. Do you guys remember that? Like when the New Balance, back when the New Balance Beacon came out, which was not that long ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. 4 years ago. It came out fresh foam. It wasn't even fresh foam max. It was fresh foam. I had like a blue pair of shoes, and I don't like blue shoes, but I bought them anyway. And I would run them, and I'm like, these are great. You could use them for easy runs. You can use them for speed work. They're lightweight. It's nimble. I feel fast and snappy in it. Great. But every time I ran in them, the insole would start sliding out the back of the shoe. And so like you'd be running, and all of a sudden like you'd feel the insole, the front of the insole under your heel. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So you'd stop, take your shoes off, reinsert the insoles properly, and then a quarter mile later, it'd be back up, sticking out of the back of the shoe again. It just drove me crazy. I had to buy 3M spray adhesive. And so I sprayed inside the shoe, and I sprayed the insole, and then I put it in there and I glued it and I pressed on it to glue it down. And then the removable insole was no longer removable. That was the only thing that fixed it. I think I had to do it with the Beacon too as well. If I'm not, there was a second shoe that I had to do it with. New Balance was weird. They got themselves sorted pretty fast, if you ask me. Kevin Scott still has a pair of the Beacon 3s. That's nice. James Edwards said, did Hoka even exist 10 years ago? I think that might have been like the birth of Hoka. Right around then. That's amazing. They got from like those two French guys that started it. I forget their name. I always forget their names. It went from them like slapping two midsoles together on a shoe with glue to like, I don't know, what was their revenue last year? I think Hoka's revenue was like $700 million last year. So Dr. Josh says, I think Hoka came out in 2011. Could be. Because like the Clifton we're on Clifton 9 is coming up. But like, I think in the early years, they didn't make a new Clifton every year, and the Clifton wasn't their first shoe. So there was other ones. So maybe. I mean, they've got to be more than 10 years old then, is what I think. And I think you're right, Dr. Josh. Jody Beck says, isn't Hoka owned by Deckers now? Yeah, they've been owned by Deckers for a while now. I want to say like at least 4 or 5 years, right? I don't know. Jade Mork says, mega love shout out. What's going on, Jade? Luke Klein says, early Hokas were like moon boots. You know, I got the Mafate Origins. I've been wearing those to take the kids to the bus stop this week because it's been a little bit snowy and icy. The other shoes that I normally wear are the Deckers Lab Cozy boots, the ones that look like Uggs, because Uggs is a sister company. So I normally wear those, but those are so slippery. If there's any hint of moisture on the ground or snow or ice, just whoosh, feet will slide right out from underneath you. So I will wear. I've been wearing the Mafate Origins that are like it's like cream on white on silver. They look like moon boots. I'm surprised none of the other moms have said anything about them. Yeah. Oh, Sean says that Deckers purchased Hoka in 2013. So that's been 10 years. Oh, okay. That's longer than I thought. Amazing. Dr. Josh says, Fila needs a super shoe. You know what? I don't know if you guys follow Tenocerto. You guys probably don't. It's a Brazilian YouTube channel. But they have been, and it's related, I'll get to how it's related to this Fila comment. They did what I've been wanting to do for a while. They actually had an awards show, because there's 3 people involved in the channel now, a husband and wife team, and then a third person. And then there's other reviewers too. They're getting really big. There's a lot of people. It's kind of like wear testers, but in Portuguese and about running shoes. And so like I've been seeing all these Instagram reels that they've been putting together, and they're like, and the best, they're like people's choice. I think that's what they're saying because it's in Portuguese. I don't understand Portuguese. They're like the people's choice for like daily trainer of the year with the most votes is something, and they have like one person in front of like a black curtain, and it looks like an evening gown type of affair, and they've got like an actual like award. I don't think they're giving it to anyone, but they're holding like an award, a physical award, and it says like the shoe on it. And then they toss it over to someone else who's standing by a different screen and talking more about the shoe. I'm like, this is amazing. This is what I wanted to do. So like they took like the best of shoe idea and actually turned it into like, a little award show. And one of the shoes that they talked about was like a Fila shoe. Like Fila running is big, not in the US, but in other countries. And apparently there in Brazil, people apparently really like them. Isn't that weird? Yeah, but I don't know that they're making a super shoe. That's the thing. All right. Joe, what is this? Hold on. Let me scroll. Adam says, Fila used to sponsor the Sky Running Series. Can you imagine there was a time where like the biggest running races would have been sponsored by Rockport and Fila? Just doesn't even make sense. Wow. That's crazy. And Kevin Scott says Hoka was founded in 2009, if the Wikipedia checks out. And let's end on this one for today. Jody says that you can't buy any Hoka or other Decker shoes now after the copyright on Ugg boots against an Australian supplier. So no one in Australia can buy any Hokas? All the Hokas are named after places in Australia, though. Not all, but that's wild. You can't get any of them? That's wild. All right. That's going to be a good place to end it for today, guys. Hopefully that resolves it. I got to look more. Jody, you're going to have to tell me more about that on Monday. I need to know more about this. But that's going to be it for today. Monday, there'll be the new video. The new series is going to be called If I Had to Start Over. And so the first one, I think I wanted to start with running shoes. Like if I had to start over, what running shoes would I buy? And I'd talk about like I buy last year's shoes, and I'd go through kind of which ones are on sale right now from the best shoes of last year. But I think it's more kind of like timely to do winter running clothes. So if I had no winter running clothes, what would I get to outfit myself for a couple of runs a week in the winter? So that video will be coming out Monday, hopefully. Hopefully I get that filmed on time. Yeah. But in the meantime, we'll do another live stream on Monday. And so over the weekend, hopefully you guys have good long runs. Stay safe, stay upright. Don't fall on any of the ice or snow. If you guys have races, good luck. I'd love to hear all about them on Monday. All right. Be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.